Hi, it's State Representative Jim Walsh. I'm here at the Capitol in Olympia on a beautiful August day. We're getting toward the end of summer, although, as we say out on the coast of Washington, summer always comes late. Our summer seems to get here a little bit late and go into what most people consider the early fall. We're kind of seeing that here at the Capitol. There's still time while the weather's good. If you're anywhere in Western Washington, swing by the Capitol Olympia and have a look at our beautiful campus here. That's the good news. I have some less good news for the rest of this update. Right now, there's a major policy battle going on over our state's so-called sanctuary state policies. We've talked about this before in passing, but this dispute is heating up. About 10 days ago, the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi sent a warning letter to our governor, Bob Ferguson, in which Bondi laid out the problems that exist with Washington State's sanctuary state policies. This has to do with the enforcement of immigration law. Now, immigration law is primarily a federal issue. We don't deal with immigration enforcement directly, at least not very often, here at the state capitol. But a few years ago, the state passed into law a bill that was called the Keep Washington Working Act. Now, in my opinion, that title is a bit misleading. What this act did was prohibit local and state law enforcement agencies from cooperating with federal enforcement agencies to enforce immigration law. It restricts state troopers and state-level law enforcement, as well as your county sheriffs and sheriff's deputies, as well as local police departments here in Washington state, from communicating with the federal authorities about immigration enforcement, about the arrest and deportation of illegal aliens in Washington, and other enforcement matters. Where the rubber really hits the road on this restriction is on the handling of federal immigration detainers. These are a kind of arrest warrant that the federal agencies issue when they know that there's an illegal alien in Washington state or in any state, and they suspect that that illegal alien has committed other crimes, and the detainer asks local law enforcement to hold the illegal alien who's suspected of other crimes until the federal law enforcement agents can get to where the illegal alien is and apprehend them. In Washington, after this Keep Washington Working Act passed into law, the local law enforcement can't honor the immigration detainer from the feds. This creates a real problem because what the federal immigration law enforcement agencies, and this is primarily the Border Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, what those agents really want to do is cooperate with local law enforcement and get illegal aliens who have committed other crimes, often gang-related violence or drug dealing, illegal drug dealing, or human sex trafficking. And that's what ICE would like to do, but this state law restricts their ability to cooperate with your local police or sheriff's deputies or the state patrol and others. So this law is a problem for law enforcement, not just about immigration issues, but those other crimes, gangster violence, drug dealing, and human sex trafficking. The gist of the letter from the U.S. Attorney General to the governor was stop interfering with the cooperation between federal agents and local agents. That undermines immigration law and enables other crimes because illegal alien criminals believe they're untouchable under Washington law. What Bondi, the U.S. Attorney General, said to Ferguson, the governor, was if you continue with these unlawful state policies, there are a number of things that the federal government may do in response. And Bondi laid them out. Most likely, the federal government will withhold certain federal grant monies and other funding from the state of Washington. After that, The federal government, primarily the U.S. Department of Justice, that's the agency Attorney General Bondi oversees, may pursue civil lawsuits against the state of Washington or perhaps local jurisdictions, counties or cities that enact sanctuary policies. That could result in money damages against the state or those local jurisdictions. And third, Bondi said, she could pursue criminal actions, criminal prosecutions against individual elected officials who are supporting and promoting unlawful sanctuary state policies. That third point, perhaps the least likely of the three, is the one that Governor Ferguson has responded to most emotionally. Ferguson has repeatedly made public statements that sort of cry victim. He says that Bondi is bullying him. While I guess that could be perceived as part of the letter that Bondi sent, the real message of Bondi's letter was we need cooperation between our state law enforcement and local law enforcement and federal. And that is a good thing. For the governor to focus so intently on one of the potential enforcement mechanisms, I think is a tactical and policy mistake. The more likely response of the federal government would be to withhold federal dollars from the state government functions here in Olympia. And that is something we don't want because our budgets already are on the knife's edge of solvency. They are still balanced, but just barely. And if our state begins to lose federal grant and matching funds and other federal dollars, that precarious balance may be thrown off and our budgets may go into the negative on their ending fund balances, which would require legislative action, perhaps a special session, to adjust for that diminishing of federal dollars. That's a situation no one should want. And in my opinion, the governor needs to be more cooperative with the federal agencies and not pick a fight with U.S. Attorney General Bondi, because the repercussions are much more likely to affect our finances here at the state government than they are to result in a criminal prosecution against the governor or other politicians. Let's focus on a good solution. Let's focus on building cooperation so that we can prevent gangster violence, drug dealing of illicit drugs, and most importantly, get some kind of control around human sex trafficking. That's a major crime problem here in Washington State, and I believe it is resulting in large part because illegal alien criminals believe that they're beyond the reach of the law because of the Keep Washington Working Act and other sanctuary state policies. This is a major issue. It's going to be a controversy and a difficult one to resolve in the weeks and months ahead. But at this point in time, the matter of sanctuary state policy may be the most urgent public policy matter we're dealing with here in Olympia. That's it for this week. I'll talk to you again soon. Until then, be well and stay strong.